Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have a jealousy, multiple characters, so let's just get into it. Link will be in the description for the fanfiction. Izuku Midoriya, narrator's point of view. A listener is in charge of showing a new student around school, so a shadow, as you could say. Only problem was that the student was a boy. Izuku walked with his precious partner to the office to retrieve the student. And boy did he get annoyed when he noticed an immature teenage male. Listener noticed the obvious look of disgust and jealousy in Izuku's eyes, but hell, he had to deal with it. The boy didn't really seem interested in the school, but as your protective broccoli-haired boy watched from afar, he noticed the guy taking occasional glances at your chest and butt. He better not touch them, Izuku grumbled as he, Bakugou, and Todoroki watched from afar. Shoto just came along for the fun, but this was getting pretty fun, since he got to see his usually calm friend all angry. Bakugou didn't really have a choice since Izuku had practically begged him for his help. "This shit is dumb as fuck. Why am I here?" Kachan growled. "Because." "Shut up, you two, they've stopped," Izuku growled. "And here is the, who gives a shit, let's go to a secluded place and have some fun," the boy purred as his hands firmly grasped your butt. Listener blushed bright red and lifted up their hand to slap them, but suddenly a huge gust of wind roared through the hallways. The boy had flown to a wall, and protective arms wrapped around your body. You looked up to see an angry, worried, and pouty Izuku, and god did he look cute. "Are you okay?" he fumed, still looking at the guy as Kachan and Todoroki ganged up on him. "Yeah, I'm fine." You smiled, seeing him all pouty and protective. You weren't going to mention it, but you knew he was jealous. So jealous, in fact, he refused to let you out of his sight. Katsuki Bakugou, Katsuki's point of view. I hated the listener's little cousin with a burning passion. The little turd loved to cling to them and ask for affection, but the look he gave me when he hugged them proved that he did that shit on purpose. Today I thought I'd finally get some alone time with them, but boy was I wrong. "The hell is this little shit doing here?" I yelled as my hands created explosions. Listener's little cousin grinned at me with a smug look on his face. I was literally going to spread his guts all over the room in a minute. The little jerk ran into Listener's arms, but they just smiled innocently at me. My angel smiled and pressed a kiss against my lips, which kinda helped my mood, but then the brat kissed their cheek right in front of me. "Well, aren't you just an attention hog?" I growled. "Stop being mean, Bakugou. He's just a kid," Listener sighed. They put the brat down and he ran off somewhere else. I teasingly tackled Listener into the couch and snuggled their head against my chest. As they giggled, their fingers combed through my spiky hair as they peppered kisses all over my face. "Let's lock the kid in the closet and have some fun," I smirked, pressing a kiss to their cheek right next to their lips. I growled and captured their lips in a rough kiss. They were surprised at first, but melted into it soon. Their lips were so soft, they were a perfect match for mine, but they were perfect for me. "Listener!" We both jumped as the brat spoke again. I glared at this stupid kid, making him piss himself from fright. "Bakugou, come on," Listener sighed, as they picked up the annoying 3-year-old. "Don't be jealous, he's just a kid and he needs a lot more attention than you." "I'm not jealous." Shoto Todoroki, Listener's point of view. "Oh my god, Shoto was so cute when he was little," Listener smiled as I looked through my baby photos with my sister. Fuyumi finally got some time off so she could officially meet Listener, but still, I wanted some time with my listener. Fuyumi continued to talk to them and I felt ignored. My sister started to braid Listener's hair, so I took the opportunity to make my presence known. I laid myself across Listener's legs and pouted. Listener's hand rested on my head and ruffled my hair, but then they'd get distracted by Fuyumi. I pouted and placed their hand on my head again so that way they'd continue petting it. Listener smiled at me and played with my red and white hair. "I love you," I hummed. "So, is teaching grade schoolers difficult?" "No, but it's difficult when children start getting their quirks." I had been ignored. I pouted and looked up at Fuyumi. I hugged Listener, which surprised them, and glared at my sister. "I want their complete attention," I fumed. Fuyumi giggled and excused herself as I continued to hold on to my gorgeous Listener. I pouted up at them and purposely made my hands cold and I snuck them up their shirt. They squealed to my cold touch and tried to get me off them, but I refused to let them go. "Shoto, it's cold," Listener sighed. "That's how I felt when you were ignoring me," I pouted. "Wait, you were I shut them up with a kiss and continued to kiss them until they fainted from overheating. I'm never letting them do this to me again. Damn, yandere, Denki Kaminari, Denki's point of view. He's my best friend. He'd never try to take them, right? Maybe I was just being overprotective. Or maybe I'm just crazy, but seeing listeners so happy around Eijirou kinda ticked me off. He always made them smile, and their tail would sway so happily around when they saw him, and now they even pounced into his arms like a cat. I've never been this jealous of another guy before, even with past partners, but I'm afraid they're getting a little too close. You are the coolest, listener tear. Their little cute cheetah spots freckled all over their face as they smiled. Such a cute kitten, Eijirou fanboyed as he snuggled his cheek against yours and hugged you. Everyone noticed the murderous aura around me as I continued to watch them, but then I snapped. Listener started purring, and that's when I drew the line. I should be the only one making them purr and joy, and shocked Eijirou's face with the other as I pulled Listener out into the hallway. They looked at me as I continued to pull them along in the hallway, but then I stopped. I slowly turned around towards them and hugged them. Denki, are you okay? I just got fed up watching Kirishima make you happy, I admitted. They smiled up at me and pressed a kiss to my cheek. I blushed at their actions, and they continued to smile at me. You're even cuter when you're jealous, they snickered. For the rest of the day, I was stuck with a noticeable blush on my face. But at least Listener hung out with Kirishima a little less. Eijirou, Kirishima, narrator's point of view. Listener knew their boyfriend was oblivious as hell, sometimes even accepted it, but never once had they thought that he would ever get jealous of somebody. You and Tetsu had been friends since middle school, and Eijirou was completely unaware of your friendship until he saw Tetsu in your house. He had come over like any other day and noticed you and Tetsu playing Just Dance in your living room. You both looked so happy, but Eijirou had this strange feeling in his stomach, and he did not like it. He waited for you both to finish dancing before making his presence known. You had looked so happy to see him, and Tetsu was surprised but nonetheless happy. Hey Sharky, you cheered, pressing a kiss to his lips. Wait, he's your boyfriend? Tetsu yelled in shock. Yeah, you got a problem with it? Eijirou growled, picking up and carrying you to your room. You were pretty surprised by his outburst, but you still smiled, understanding why he was upset. Your boyfriend was freaking jealous, and it was so damn cute. He was stuck cuddling with you the rest of the day, and Tetsu eventually left since you never came out of your room. Tenya Iida, Tenya's point of view. I always have been jealous of my big brother, mostly because Listener always wanted to be around him, since he was their hero, but sometimes it would be a bit of an overkill. Now that my brother was in a wheelchair, Listener would sit down and listen to his stories as a hero. Their expression was very cute as they listened in awe, but they never look at me that way, and I wish they'd look at me like that. It's truly admirable to see somebody so dedicated to a fallen hero, but I felt strange since they wouldn't look at me. We might have similar quirks, and I may be taking on my brother's mantle as Ingenium, but people like you can be made into heroes even better than me. You and Iida will become some of the greatest speed heroes of your generation, without a single doubt in my mind. My brother smiled, ruffling Listener's hair as they blushed and flashed him a smile. My mom entered the room, and Listener stood up to their feet and bowed politely as they excused themselves. They quietly walked outside into the front yard and sat underneath the sakura tree in front of our home. They had a content smile on their face and a fiery passion burning in their eyes. Although they looked beautiful, I was still jealous. Listener, I called out. They turned towards my voice and smiled as they hopped onto their feet and zipped towards me. They looked so happy, so cute, but I couldn't help but remember the look they gave my brother. All I could do was hug them as I continued to think about that look. They mumbled my name as they tried to escape my grip, but I continued to pull them into a tight hug. You're grounded from story time for a week, I puffed. Huh? No story time? They pretended to cry. I pressed a kiss to their forehead and looked away, but their face was unaware of the smile that was spreading ear to ear. They sighed as they slowly pieced together that I was jealous. Yes, jealous indeed. Shinsou Hitoshi, narrator's point of view. The violet-haired teen growled as he watched his beautiful angel smile with their friend. That friend being the very boy who fought during the school festival, Izuku Midoriya. The way Izuku made them smile was ridiculous, and it made him feel small. What could Izuku possibly be talking about with you that would make you blush, smile, and laugh like that? Shinsou missed his attention from his little kitten, as he wanted nothing more than to hold them and kiss their sweet face. But Izuku was always in the way. He finished his lunch and threw away his mess before walking over to your table. Hey there, kitten, he purred, pressing a kiss to your forehead as you bent back to see him. Hi, tiger. Izuku was smiling like a goofball watching a loving couple. Shinsou glared at the broccoli boy and sighed. Hey Midoriya, how's your day? Oh, Izuku fell silent as his eyes reflected from a distant look. You glared at Shinsou with a pouty face, and he had just used his quirk on your best friend. Shinsou! Now clean up your mess and go back to class, Shinsou ordered. Your mind-controlled friend did as he was told and soon disappeared. Shinsou looked down at your pouty face and kissed your lips all over. Soon, your face was no longer a pout, but a huge freaking blush. You sighed and pouted as you looked down to the ground. I knew you were mad at me, but I was madder. Izuku was getting a little too comfortable with you. I was jealous. Like, really jealous. Jealous much? Listener smiled. Very. The school bell rang and we walked hand in hand to class. Listener smiled as they held my hand tight and blushed. They made fun of me the rest of the day, and it sucked, but at least they knew that they were mine. Tamaki Amajiki, listener's point of view. Tamaki was mad. Well, more like he was jealous. Midoriya had been really clingy lately since it was my birthday, and because of that I had ended up ignoring the poor elf boy. I knew Midoriya was teasing, but Tamaki really hated how the blonde male clung to my waist. I knew he was really mad, but I still smiled at my cute raven-haired dork. Tamaki blushed when I grinned at him, but he looked away and continued to frown as Midoriya rubbed his cheek against mine. Help me, I mouthed to Nejiri. Hey Midoriya, can you come help me with the cake in the kitchen please? Nejiri pleaded. Midoriya glanced at me playfully, and then at his sulking friend in the corner. Thankfully, he understood what Nejiri was trying to do and grinned at me. I'm going, Hato, Midoriya cheered as he phased through my body and onto the couch. I shivered at the strange feeling and walked over to my handsome elf. I wrapped my arms around his shoulder and kissed his ear. Tamaki ignored me, but the more I leaned against him, the more he started to acknowledge me. Don't be mad, Tama. Midoriya was just being an idiot. I know, but I just don't like the feeling. What feeling, Tamaki? I asked as he finally stared at me with those gorgeous eyes of his. A blush painted his cheeks as he donned a jealous frown on his face. The feeling that makes my heart hurt. It hurts when I see Midoriya with you. I only want you to be happy with me. I smiled at his cute confession and kissed his forehead softly, and then his cheek, and to my surprise he had kissed me hard on the lips. We fell back and Tamaki hovered over me as he continued to kiss away the jealousy. Oh ho ho! Look at Tamaki getting all frisky with Listener on the floor, Midoriya cheered. Shut up, Midoriya! I screamed as Tamaki snuggled his face onto my chest to hide his embarrassment. Honestly, Midoriya was too much sometimes, but Tamaki, he was so much more, and he was even cuter when he was jealous. Alrighty, that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed. I might be doing more like mini-series like this, but we'll see. Either way, I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!